Hi everyone, I'm doing something unusual tonight. This is a video response to Annie of Mirth and Reverence. She was asking about what it was like where we live, and kind of a broad question, and things like what do we hear at night, and you know, how is the weather changing now, and the plants, and where do we like to go. So I thought, since I had the opportunity, I would start this evening, tonight. It's about almost 10 o'clock, and I'm going to take you out on the deck and show you what it's like here. Now, I live in the Bay Area. I'm just above Berkeley, and I don't have the light on out here, so I don't know how much you're going to be able to see. But it's actually, tonight, it's clear. A lot of times we'll have fog blowing in. It was quite windy today, so I'm not sure what it's going to be like tomorrow. But so a lot of times at night, I do hear wind, whether it's foggy or not, and I can't really see my prayer flags there. It is really dark out here, but so a lot of times I'll hear the prayer flags. Every once in a while there are birds at night that I hear, but usually I hear more of them in the early morning. But every once in a while here on the West Coast there'll be mockingbirds that make a lot of noise at night. And usually don't hear too many dogs at night. I think most people probably keep their dogs inside. Sometimes you hear weird rodent noises like raccoons and possums and things like that, but not very often. We do have deer that, even though, you know, the hills, you can't really see them here, but the hills are back that way. Even though it's kind of in between suburban and urban right here, but since we're so close to the hills, that the deer will come down and they like eat stuff that's in my front yard. But right now, this time of year, we can have kind of nice warm-ish weather. As we head into the summer, we can, especially right where we are, get a lot of the fog because it comes in through the Golden Gate and across the bay and kind of heads smack towards us. But I'll get up in the morning and I will show you what it's like early morning here. Okay, bye. So I showed you early morning. I didn't talk because I had just woken up, but I wanted to get the bird sounds, and now it's, what time is it? It's about 7:30, and I'll just kind of generally talk about our area. There's my roses blooming now, so that's definitely a sign of spring. There, those roses. Let's see here. So out in this direction, this is east, all right? So I'm going to show you out here. You saw it at night, and here it is in the morning. Those roses are blooming too, which is beautiful. And you've seen my backyard a number of times. And it's, you know, things are growing out there. There's the fig tree this time of year. It's got the bright green, and the persimmon tree as well. my rose geraniums blooming. So this is looking east, and I don't know with the glare how well you can see, but those are the East Bay Hills. I wonder if I can zoom in for you there. Let's see. So yeah, so there's the hills up there, and out beyond there is there's a lot of parks back in there. So there's a lot of wooded areas back there. Tilden Park, a lot of the East Bay parks. So it's kind of a little bit wild back there, which is neat. And then this direction, this is out front. This is a really nice, this is kind of a typical spring morning, I guess. Summer can be cool and foggy, but that direction is west, and you can't see it from here, but the bay is out there. When I go down to Point Isabel, there's some more roses and my crab apple, and I've got a bunch of nasturtiums coming right there. Anyway, so when you go out west, that's where Point Isabel is. I've gone out by the bay, taken you out by the bay. There are some of the old videos with Casper. I have been out there, and I do a lot of pictures, and so I'm trying to think of what I want to say here. The coastline up here isn't real sandy. It's pretty rocky, and even in the bay, we've got a lot of fennel that grows wild. We've got a lot of wild radish that blooms with little white and purple flowers. Those are kind of the natives here. Not a lot of deciduous trees. Well, yeah, not a lot of deciduous trees, but we do have oaks, but they're live oaks, which tend to hold on to their leaves. And then, of course, the redwoods. So I'll just finish talking about my area. I was thinking I was going to take you everywhere. I was going to take you down to the bay and up to Tilden Park, but I might do that in some other videos. But right now I'll just talk about my area and this time of year, which everything is, all the trees, not all the trees, but those that lose their leaves and get their new ones, they're all this wonderful bright green color. And the light, especially the light, I notice, because obviously it gets lighter, it's getting lighter earlier and staying lighter longer. I love this time of year and into summer because when I go to Aikido practice, it's still light out when I get out. In wintertime, when I go, it's already dark and sometimes cold, and I don't have socks on my feet because I'm going to be on the mat, and I wear sandals, and I just feel cold. So this time of year is always really nice to come out of practice and have it still be light out. I think probably, especially since I'm a photographer, I really notice the light and the quality of the light. You know, it's still, it's kind of, you know, the shadows are longer, and it's, you know, well, actually they're getting shorter right now, but the light is still a really nice kind of soft quality to it. It never gets, right where I am, it never gets like hot. I mean, I don't know that we ever hit triple digits here, and even in the 90s is pretty rare. It's probably less than a handful of days a year, if that. So right now is a really nice time of year. Everything, there's a lot of life force, you know, with birds and the plants and everything else. It will get cooler usually in the summertime because, as I said before, we'll get a lot of wind coming in off the bay and the fog. But if you just go over the hills, you can warm up. It gets warmer. Later in the summer, later in August, it might start warming up into September. But we're talking about right now. So I'm trying to stick to springtime, spring into summer. This time of year, I guess it's more like summertime too. More of the deer come down and start eating, you know, whatever they want in the front yard. It's really very comical. Either in the early morning or sometimes in the evening, there will be sometimes a whole family of deer trotting down the middle of the street. Haven't seen a whole lot of raccoons and possums around for a while, but every once in a while there'll be a cycle where we'll have more of those. But it's a very mild climate, a little bit cool. This time of year is like I say, is nice. We never get really, really cold in the wintertime. We can get really wet. That's the time of year where we have most of our precipitation. Northern California and the Bay Area gets more rain than Southern California, which is essentially a desert. I mean, LA would be a desert were it not for, what is it, the draining one of the lakes down there back in, you know, that movie Chinatown. Anyway, you know, we're pulling all the water from the Colorado River. But even though we get more rain up here, it's still, you know, it's still relatively dry compared to the East Coast, and not as humid. And it might be also that we don't notice the humidity because it's not as warm. But it's a wonderful time of year. I love the spring, all the new things growing. It's just so fresh and so vibrant. Yeah, so thank you, Annie, for this suggestion. I hope that gives people some idea of what it's like here in Northern California and the Bay Area. And I look forward to other video responses. And sometime in the future I'll take you up to Tilden Park. I don't think I've ever done a video up there. I've done some down by the bay, but I haven't taken you up into the wooded areas, so I'll need to do that sometime. But like I say, great idea, Annie. I enjoyed hearing your take on this time of year and where you are, and I hope to hear other people's as well. All right, bye.